Hey, reporters, welcome back to my channel. Listen, I had to run and pre-record this Teen Mom Family Reunion recap because I forgot there was even an episode last week. So, I'm wondering how many more episodes are left of this. It's kind of like I said in the last recap video that I kind of feel like this thing is dead without the drama queens on it, right? Without Brianna and without Ashley's drama. I'm not really seeing all that much worth tuning into outside of my girl Big Gulp Christy and her purse. Maybe I should call her Big Purse Christy now, or Satchel Christy. I'm not sure yet. Crossbody Christy. Maybe that might be it, y'all. You let me know in the comments if that's something you like in Crossbody Christy. But Big Gulp was my first thing, so I'm going to use that for now. So she actually finally had her chance to shine this episode, so I was quite happy for her on that front. So her task this episode was to throw an engagement party for her daughter, Jade. Remember, Jade is now engaged to Sean for the millionth time. I think it's 3-4 times now that they're re-engaged. And so in order to be a supportive mom, to try to rebuild her relationship with her daughter, Jade, Big Gulp decides to take it upon herself to invite Sean into the COVID house for the engagement party. And I call it the COVID house because so many people are down and out with COVID in this house. We had Amber, we had Caitlin, I believe we had April as well. We had Kayla with the COVID. I think even her mom had the COVID, even though that was not confirmed. It is the COVID house. So it is quite funny to me that they are thinking of throwing someone into the mix there, but I digress. The moms then go whitewater rafting as an activity as the grandmas decide to do their own activity back at the house with Coach B. And I noticed that Big Gulp Christy started walking around with an even bigger purse again. This is an older photo. Remember, for what, well, I know what reason it is, right? They don't want people screen recording and pirating that way, but CTV, MTV, whatever, they don't allow you to take screenshots anymore. So I'm just using these old ones that I had from before. These are not current screenshots. So sorry about that. Now, the grandmas are looking into the mirror, talking about like how they see themselves as women, as mothers and whatnot. And I thought it was a pretty interesting activity. It definitely was not as emotional as I believe Coach B would have wanted it to be, but the moms are just not there to be as dramatic and, you know what I mean, as their daughters are. The grandmas are not there to do all of that. But I thought that was quite interesting. So let's start off with Margaret. Margaret is Cheyenne's mom. And so she talks about how she didn't grow up in like a family unit or anything like that, nothing super strong. And so she made a very conscious effort when she was choosing her partner and the father of her kids that she wanted a family dynamic. She wanted an intact family. Yes, she went through a divorce and whatnot, but there's a lot of great co-parenting and family blending in her life for her kids. So that's fine. You know what I mean? I thought that worked out really well. She chose perfectly. And as a result, that mindset transferred well onto her daughter, Cheyenne, as well, because she had a similar thing. Although Cheyenne's pregnancy story is a little bit more different, shall I say, than her mother's, being that she had a one-night stand with Corey and then got pregnant by him. But she lucked out that Corey was the type of guy who would stick around and would want to be there for this family dynamic with her future partners and whatnot. So she really lucked out, I should say. Maybe she didn't have the same habits as her mom, because I think she wouldn't have done that in a one night stand if she was replicating her mom's habits of being like careful about who you choose to have children with. So Big Gulp Christy then says in front of the mirror that she sees herself as a good mom. And I'm really curious about you guys' reaction to that. My reaction was, well, your daughter kind of makes it seem like she didn't experience you as being a good mom. And I'm pretty sure Jade kind of was bouncing around foster homes or had to end up in at least one foster home because Big Gulp Christy was like on drugs and whatnot, or whatever it was that she was doing. So I found that interesting. I did, right? I can't say whether she is or not, obviously, but I found that to be quite interesting. I think the thing that I'm most curious about is what Jade's reaction to that would be, given all of the trauma that she has as a result of being raised by Big Gulp. So I think that that's pretty much where they kind of end things off. The other moms were not all too interesting. I know that Kaya's mom talks about how Actually, I don't even remember what Kaya's mom talks about because, like I said, it wasn't all that interesting. But she had a little something to say in front of the mirror. I believe that she kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Sorry, y'all. um, and now back to Big Gulp Christy. She did also talk about getting into drugs and partying super hardcore after having kids, and she regrets that her daughter Jade had to witness all of that, which I think is a direct contradiction to what it was that she was saying earlier when she was singing her own praises. But I digress. Now, the girls are coming back home from white water rafting, and what do they see on the internet? None other than Ashley, the freshly kicked out Ashley, talking crap about them on Instagram Live with her sister. And they are all absolutely outraged by it. They're like, what is she saying? She's lying. She's reframing the fight in a way that it never even actually went down. I believe Ashley insulted a couple of them in there as well, so they were pissed off about that also. So Ashley's really just not doing herself any favors. I think she should have just sat at home and whatnot. I also don't really think it's all that fair for her to claim that everybody knew she was pregnant when she was out there trying to like physically square up and fight and whatnot, because then it makes them responsible for her putting her pregnancy at risk. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that was no one's decisions but herself. And the way we saw it play out on the show, only one person was aware of her pregnancy, and that one person was Caitlyn, outside of Ashley's mom, of course, right? And it was Caitlyn. And Caitlyn was the one who took it upon herself to try to protect Ashley by telling the other girls, listen, she's pregnant. Like, don't fight her. Like, I know she was like, you know, acting like she's ready to fight you and this and that, but don't do it because she's pregnant. You don't want that like on your conscience. You don't want that on your hands. Don't do it. So, and all the girls seemed genuinely shocked and disgusted that a pregnant woman was behaving this way. So Ashley completely lied in her Instagram Live. And I would be pissed about that. I would be fuming if someone went online and tried to claim that I knew they were pregnant when they were trying to fight me and I was trying to fight them back. You know what I mean? Like, because that makes me look absolutely horrible. And I think that she deliberately did that for that reason, to elicit more sympathy for herself. She also brought up Brianna's children as well, talking about how they have different dads and stuff, which is completely irrelevant to their beef. There was no reason to bring up Brianna's children and her kids having different dads and whatnot, Ashley. Like, what does that add to any part of this drama, this beef, or anything like that? Did her kids do something to you? You know what I mean? Because if you want to go there, we can go there about like who you chose to procreate with too, but we're not going to do it because that's not a, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not, it's kind of irrelevant, or sorry, not even kind of irrelevant, but 100% irrelevant to the conversation at hand. Anyway, Macy, she gets to speak up a little bit more in this episode. She actually goes into the hot tub with Cheyenne, and she talks about her frustration with her baby daddy, Ryan Edwards. And of course, we all know already, like, the years-long kind of animosity that she's built up towards not only him, but his enabling parents as well. So it seems like they're really starting to set the bridge over to lead the Edwards family into the show. And now that's the only thing that I'm continuing to watch, looking forward to, because these girls, their ratings are the way that they are for a reason. It's because they're not entertaining. It's because they're not interesting, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I discovered this new show on Netflix called Palpito, or The Marked Heart, and it is so freaking good. Right? It's so good. I know I messaged this to one of you guys, one of my followers. Someone emailed me because I think I told you guys, like, after learning French, I set my sights on learning Spanish. And so I spend a lot of time when I'm not watching reality shows, watching Spanish language shows, typically Mexican or Colombian. So if you have more recommendations on Netflix or Amazon Prime, let me know. But I found this the other day and I binged 6 episodes. And each episode is like 45 minutes. So I binged almost 6 hours worth of this. And it felt like that. It flew by. But watching one episode of this was my reaction. I wanted to cry. After like 15 minutes, I felt like I had been watching it for 8 hours and I was being tortured. You know what I mean? So please bring on the Edwards, bring on the reunion, and let's move on, because these girls are not the business. And that's why their ratings suck. So Macy, after this conversation with Cheyenne, sorry for my voice, I'm still a little stuffy, decides to request a one-on-one session with Coach B. to further grow herself a little bit as a person and as a mom to Bentley. And I found that really wonderful. I always love initiative when it comes to those sorts of things like self-improvement and whatnot. And so the activity that Coach B plans for her is for her to carry a weighted vest. And then each time she takes a weight, and she has to walk like a certain amount of meters or whatever. And each time she takes a weight out of the vest, she has to scream what it is, basically. And so, yeah, we talk about like her carrying the weight of Bentley not getting what he deserves by way of a father. She's angry at Brian's parents for enabling him. And y'all, now we see where that got us, right? Let me try and pull up this thing about Ryan. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's where he wound up with all that enabling and stuff. Mind you, I am doing a live about that today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, so she's really pissed off about all of this, and I do not blame her one single bit. This has to be incredibly hard to deal with as a mom and as a co-parent, because like she said, she's always been co-parenting with Ryan's parents rather than Ryan himself, because he's never really been super active as a father, especially with his addiction issues lately and whatnot. And so she then gets the suggestion to text his mom, Mimi Jen, to see if she's willing to come to the retreat so they can work out their issues. And obviously that means I think that she is going to turn up, which is good. I hope Larry comes stumbling along behind her. And I have heard rumbles that Ryan and potentially Mackenzie were set to come as well. That I can't confirm, but I heard strong rumors suggesting so. Anyway, back in Big Gulp Christy's world, Sean, he comes to the bachelorette, or whatever you call it. No, it's not the bachelorette, the wig party, the wig-engagement party. And I gotta say, listen, I don't like those dentures that the famous people are sporting these days. You know, they are getting rid of their teeth and they're putting on these like big dentures and whatnot. I don't normally like them, but I will say, and his as well, that includes his. I think they're a bit too big for his face, but he's looking good. I think I'm getting attracted to him sometimes. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty decent looking guy. You know what I mean? It's not like my usual type, but like I can appreciate that he's a good looking guy when he cleans up. He definitely does clean up nice. He also brings Cheyenne's, I think he's her husband at that point, but he brings him along too. And Zach, I don't know. I feel like Zach is a bit of a tryhard. He walks in with his glasses and stuff. And then at first he doesn't put on a wig. He doesn't put it on until a little bit later. And I'm like, stop. You're on Teen Mom Family Reunion, okay? You are not P. Diddy. You are not, you know what I mean? Like, stop. Slow down a little bit. Like, get over yourself a little bit. But again, I am happy that he did end up putting on a wig at the end of the day for that party. And I also want to say congratulations to Big Gulp Christy for throwing that party. I'm sure that was a lot of work to plan and whatnot and like coordinate. And I hope that it helped kind of improve her relationship with her daughter, Jade, even if it's only slightly so. I do believe that Jade still has a lot of pent up resentment towards her, so it might be like a long work in progress and whatnot, but I do hope that it at least helps kind of mend fences and become a starting point for them to kind of find their way back together in a closer and a healthier relationship. But enough about me. I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please, please, please do make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Ryan, what are you doing here? Ariana. And I'll see you next time. Bye.